Hello everyone, Eileen back with you again. Today I'm going to be using some products from Visible Image. One of their stamp sets called Street Dance Boys, and a stencil, and this one is well loved, as you can see. It's one of their new stencils, and this is called Ripped Fishnet, and you'll find both of those, of course, on their website. Let's get cracking then. This is what I'm aiming to make, and I think it would be a good card for a teenager. It's very quick. We're talking 10 minutes, I suppose, really. Not long at all. A piece of cardstock that I've cut, an A4 sheet, and then folded it in half and cut it down, and the size of this card is 10 by 14.5 centimetres, and it's Paper Mill Direct Super Smooth 300 GSM. I have my stencil board, so I'm going to need that and a piece of copy paper. So popping that into the card to protect the inside. I'm also using another stencil from my stash. I've got no name around the edge, so I don't know where I got this from. It's just a shape, as you can see, a half moon semicircle, but it's really useful. And I'm using this edge to butt up against the card so that I know that it will be straight on the cardstock. So I just want to bring it down a little from the top, and also just judge how far up from the bottom. I think that'll do. So I'm trying to get it in the middle as far as I can, and then making sure that it's locked into the side of the card, and then putting the magnets down from my homemade stencil board. I'm using makeup brushes, and I've got 3 of them. So I'm going to also use a distress ink in Wild Honey, Tumbled Glass, and just a touch of Dusty Concord. Starting off with Tumbled Glass and one of the makeup brushes, and I think it's, it doesn't matter which one I use, they're both clean. I never wash these. They're just, I just clean them off by rubbing them on a piece of textured kitchen towel, and that gets most of the ink off. If it stains the bristles, that's fine. It doesn't seem to affect the performance of the brushes, so no, I don't put them anywhere near any water. Right, so inking up this now, this pad is not very wet. So if yours is quite juicy, then just take a little bit off on the side of the copy paper before you go near the stencil, otherwise it will be splodgy. But this, I do know, is very dry, so I'm going to go straight in and just coming up from the bottom and in from the side of the stencil. As I've said, take it off, some of the ink, if your ink pad is new or wet, because it will be too much. I'm holding the top of this makeup brush and I'm really firmly pushing it down into the cardstock without moving the cardstock underneath, but it's sort of grinding the colour in. Just coming up about just over halfway. Lovely day again here in North Kent. Beautiful sunshine. I'm going out in the garden later, and I'm going to take a book. Excuse me. I'm going to take a book and have lunch out in the garden. That would be nice. Hubby won't join me because he suffers terribly from hay fever. So I shall be on my own. That's good then. Right, Wild Honey is next. and change the brush. And this pad is wetter, so I'm taking a little bit of that off. Oh yeah, much wetter. So taking some of the ink off of this one to avoid any nasty splodgy marks. Coming down from the top and get a nice blend. And again, firmly gripping the top of the makeup brush and sort of really grinding it into the card. Okay, now I'm going to use it, going back to the other brush, I just want to blend in some more blue. Give me a sort of a greeny tone then, which is nice, in the middle. Well, I think that's looking quite smooth. That's quite a nice blend. Now don't move your stencil, leave it in place. Because the other stencil is going over the top. I'm just moving the magnets around. Give me a bit of room. And then position the other stencil. I think it would look quite good like that. I want to get some of these ripped bits in. Like so. Yes, that looks quite good. So putting the magnets back down. That will hold that firmly. And then taking dusty Concord, a nice contrast colour. And this isn't a very wet pad either, so haven't got to take off too much of this. And then very gently with this now, not grinding it in. Just doing circular motions. I'm not covering the whole stencil, just bits here and there. I'm paying more attention to the area down here. Get there. You can't actually see what you're doing with it. So there's a surprise as well then. Oh, the joys of crafting. Right. That will do. I think that will do. Let's have a look. Oh yes, that's nice. And then take off the original base stencil. Now I've got a few fibres floating about there, so take those off. Move that out of the way. That's all gone. Clear the decks. And on to the stamping. So this is my stencil board. Put my magnets back on so I don't lose them. So useful this is. It's just a self-adhesive magnetic sheet stuck to a self-healing mat, for those of you that haven't seen it before, but I think a lot of you have. Right. Now, stamping. My stamp pad, you can use a stamp platform if you wish. I'm just going to use this and keep that piece of copy paper there. And then my stamps are good to go. I'm starting off with this one from the set. And just to remind you, the set is called Street Dance Boys. And VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. So gentle tapping. It's a really solid image. And this ink pad is fairly newish. I got it last month. I always put the dates when I buy my ink pads on the back of them to remind me. I use re-inkers as well when they need it. And this one's fine at the moment. So that looks as if it's well covered. Just going to get a cloth to take off around on the block and then position the stamp, and it looks around about there will be good. Hold it down, let the ink soak in. It's quite a solid stamp. It needs to be very opaque. And then down and up. Yeah, that's good. So I'll just give that a wipe, but I'm done with that. And then the next stamp is this one from the set. There's 3 in the set. I'm just using 2 of them. Gentle light tapping. Same colour ink. Thanks for all the lovely comments about the flowers card that I did yesterday. Lots of lovely messages as well. Do appreciate it. Did turn out really well. I was pleased with it. Okay, he's done. And then pop him down there to the bottom. Let's move it over a smidging. Yes, and let the ink soak into the cardstock, just gently holding it. Pressing firmly and up. Gorgeous, nice and crisp. Good quality stamps these are. Now the words. And the words, life is better when you win the lottery. Premium bonds. Okay. Life is better when you dance. Well, we can all do that. This is the first stamp of 2. This is life is better when you. And then the other stamp from the set has the word dance. Gentle tapping again there. And then I'm just going to pop this down round about there, holding it gently again. It's lovely this. It's got a solid text underneath and then a sort of a scribbly text on the top. I think it's really lovely font. I like that. Adds interest, doesn't it? And then we have the word dance. Again, same colour ink. Gently tap. Wipe the block and then position that underneath. Hope this is straight. You live dangerously when you stamp straight onto the card, don't you? Oh dear. It was terrible before I had my cataracts done, you know. Couldn't see a thing. And everyone was saying, that's not straight, Eileen. And I'd go, yes, it is. But of course, it was out of focus. Couldn't see what I was doing. Oh, dear. They're good now. Right. There, that's it. So now we're going whacking. And I'm using a black Posca pen. This is a 0.7 millimeters bullet shape tip. Give it a good shake. Ooh. Now I've got to find my tool that I do the whacking with. And it's not around. Not to worry. I'll use this one instead. Okay, So it's just a quick whack. Don't want to overdo it. Just sort of brings everything together. Yeah, that will do. That will do, that will do. And that's it. Okay, let's have a look. That's the one that I've just done. This is the one that I did earlier on. And that looks a bit wider to me. That maybe it's the wrong size. Let's have a look. Oh no, it's the same size. Okay. Bit darker with the ink on that one. Don't mind that. That one looks lighter. That looks good as well. Well, I think so. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thanks ever so much for looking today. Thank you for all the lovely comments. I won't see you tomorrow, Wednesday. I've got things to do. But I'll be back with you on Thursday. Try and find something different to do. How about that? Have a nice day. Bye for now. Stay safe.